fix. Life looks brilliant, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head again. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's like I've won my final war without a fight. I'm out of control, about to blow. I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You bury me, bury me. I know you bury me, bury me. You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. I can see, I can hear, going crazy, but the light has got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized.
Please note.
Never gonna stop, never gonna change, never gonna do the things you say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin that the odds seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me the storm is coming, I'm sick of all your lies. Why don't you try to be wise? Now that I need you anyway. I never wanted to be alive, just to feel like I'm fading. And though my heart breaks, I'll beat it down. I cross the lines just to take you. Don't lead the way, don't even say that I drown with a child playing the rain. I feel like I'm fading. I am in misery.
Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones, I'm losing it all. Stuck in my head, I am in misery. Deep inside myself, all I get, my only family. Stuck in the grave, can someone rescue me? I'm burning alive, I got it, I am in. I am in misery.
Hit my best Ricky Starks there. I am, of course, OLED Enterprise. This is Ashton Pizarro, and we are your host of Taking Over. And boy, do we... Oh, NXT. NXT. This is the way to get hyped for a pay-per-view. Well, yes, but no, but yes, but they did a lot of things tonight.
Yeah.
Some of them were good. Some of them weren't so good.
Mhm.
We will
Yes,
talk
that's
about
true.
all of this. STG is on time. He's been messaging me on Twitter throughout the show. So I'm very excited to talk about this.
I didn't get any
I'm
Twitter
not dying.
messages.
I have
What
a
is
cough.
this?
I have a cough. Well, mostly it was about Lexis King. So, I mean, that all gets directed to me.
That's true.
He also says hello to Hollywood Astrid. The Ogre Lord is here saying, hello, my friends. How are you doing this evening? We're having an absolutely great evening tonight.
Mhm.
I'm going to drop about 100 of those references tonight, so get ready. I haven't seen a lot of them, so I only know like 5. So there's going to be a few. Yes, it was indeed a bit shocking to see Ricky Starks tonight. And that's where we should start, because honestly, it's the biggest thing to come out of this show. We had somebody added to the women's match, which is probably our main event for the show, and it pales in comparison to the debut of the former AEW. Well, is it an AEW champion considering he was the FTW champion? Does that count as it? Is that a sanctioned AEW title? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
Former AEW talent Ricky Starks shows up on NXT tonight, and he says he's going to make an impact and he's going to flip NXT on its head. He is indeed the star that NXT has been looking for. No offense to the people we already have there. No offense to my boy Obafemi. But Ricky Starks is a star. He's already made, he's already ready. No offense to Ethan Page, Trick William, none of them. But
I
none
need
of
the
them.
AW meme again of like backstage.
Sean Spears points at Ethan Page, who points at Ricky Starks.
Yes.
And then they all point at Dango, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing here?
I can see that. I can see them doing that too.
STG says he'll follow you on Twitter too.
I'll think about it now.
So the Haterade, because it was unsponsored, has been replaced by generic water bottle. Also, because I can fit more in generic water bottle. AEW. So here's the thing: when contracts run out, they cannot have a no compete clause. Since AEW doesn't release talent, this is what they run into. When you don't release a talent and you just let their contracts expire, they're just going to start showing up places. So that's what happens. There's a benefit, sort of, and there's a punishment, sort of. Yes, you keep them from talking to anybody, theoretically, while you keep them under contract. Unlike what happens if you say release a talent. So all of the WWE talent that were released on Friday and over the weekend, and by the way, best wishes to all of those talent. There are some sincerely great people in there. I'm so sad my Isla Dawn is gone. I'm so sad. But for all of those talent, they're already able to talk to other promotions. They're already ready to be able to take bookings. And as long as they don't wrestle, they can kind of do what they want for the next 90 days. Now, granted, most companies that are going to want to bring you in are going to want to have you wrestle, so you really can't do nothing for 90 days. But they have that opportunity because WWE has told them in advance, you're done. So they get 90 more days of paychecks, and then they get to go wherever. But the hope for that on the business side is when you release a talent, you hope that those 90 days, they sit on the shelf, they can't go do it, that they get out of the public eye, and that you hopefully make their value slightly less. Whereas Ricky Starks, and again, because he wasn't necessarily on television, doesn't really change much. Because he hadn't been making much of an impact. Well, he hadn't been being all elite for the foreseeable past. But he is a Defy World Champion now, so it'll be interesting to see what WWE does with something like that. But yeah, there's a no compete clause. Yes, the Stroke Daddy is indeed all NXT. We have to get the graphic. No, we don't do that. They don't keep them in jail. They don't. It's not letting a person's contract run down isn't keeping them in jail. There, like I said, there are benefits and there are repercussions to doing each. The problem is you look sillier to the general public who doesn't know what's going on when you do what Tony Khan did and let 3 contracts expire. By the way, if this is anything to be taken as a sign or anything, Friday night, you might want to keep an eye on that television screen because both Miro and Aleister Black, at the same time Ricky was pulled off the pages. So you got to imagine both of those contracts are expired as well.
I'm
So
also like, I also want to say, I'm not surprised that Ricky's in NXT. I was just surprised how quickly it happened because I expected it just not tonight, at least. But like you said, it's like I feel like he's filling up a void that we had here because even with Ethan being in and out of the world title picture, aside from Obafemi, there's not a lot of people in the world title picture. And I feel like Ricky, being that he's somebody already established, you don't have to wait to like create him. You can just catapult him to the top.
Yeah. I still think you give him the North American title right away. I don't think you put him in a match with Obafemi.
No, not yet. But I'm just saying that he's gonna be there eventually, not just like this weekend, for example.
Yeah.
But he's gonna be there probably in a few months.
And STG's already put it in the chat, and we'll go ahead and ask it now, and we'll let Ashford answer first. Do you think it was a good idea to pop the surprise tonight on TV as opposed to waiting to Saturday night at the pay-per-view?
It's hard because I just feel like at least now people are gonna start looking up at the clips online, and that something's gonna create buzz for the show, especially on Saturday, because you don't know if something else is gonna happen Saturday with him now at this point. But at the same time, unless they're expecting something bigger to happen on Saturday, and this is just the beginning, so who knows?
The big question is they're still teasing that 4-person faction for Vengeance Day. So that's a reason to do Ricky tonight. Also, Ricky is going to pop the internet like it already has. So now you're carrying momentum going into Saturday. Those are the reasons to do it tonight. Is you're already teasing that you're going to have a debut on Saturday. And this gives you the momentum that you want heading into Saturday. Yeah, he's not on the card. Yeah, he's probably not going to have a match. But you could have a backstage interview with Ricky Starks where he talks to Shara Schreiber, or he sits with Corey Graves and has a sit-down chat where they talk about, Ricky, you're here from the other side. What are your plans? What are you doing? Who are you targeting? I think putting him on tonight's show gives us the inclination that he's probably going after the North American Championship. Because again, if he were going after Obafemi, you probably save this as a tag at the end of the show and you have Obafemi main event. We have Melball here. Melball will put this up for you now, but we'll also talk about him a little bit later, but here he is.
Well, Mel's gonna like the type of match he's getting.
Oh yeah. Mel would volunteer to be in that match with him, as far as I know.
I just thought about that.
Yeah, Mel would volunteer to be put in
Mel's
that
like,
match
I
with him.
volunteer as tribute. I can see Mel doing that. Oh my goodness. You froze, Ed. What happened?
Sorry,
Your
I think we
VPN
lost
again?
it. I just turned it off because I had it on for the show.
There you go.
She does say squee. I'm assuming we both made the I volunteer as tribute comment.
Yeah.
From Catching Fire or whatever the hell it is.
Yes.
Whatever it is, yes. We'll talk about that in a bit. SG also says, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm old school and love surprise. But tell me, this wasn't a surprise? This wasn't yes, you're only getting a pop in front of 200 people as opposed to, 2,000 people. But it's not like he's debuting in front of a crowd of 70,000 people. Like, you've got to understand, this is an NXT crowd. Your NXT crowd is only going to be in the high hundreds to low couple thousands for this show in Washington, D.C. So debuting him now and getting the pop, you got a pretty big pop. And again, you're getting all the social media traction heading into as opposed to during the show. And if you got to sell a couple last minute seats, this wasn't a bad way to try to sell them.
That's true.
But yeah, it's getting the fans to do the research. It's getting that idea out there. It's making an impact. And again, that happens on Fridays, but that's kind of what you got to do here.
Yeah.
We've talked about Ricky Starks for a good 10 minutes. I think we could talk about the rest of the show now. I don't want to talk about there are portions of this show that I'm very excited to talk about. There are portions of this show that I wish never happened. Some of those things are things that people are going to think I'm excited about. We start with Bayley versus Cora Jade. I like this, but I want Astra to talk about this because she heard music that made her heart go all aflutter during this match.
Yeah. As I said, this is something that I expected to happen last week at least somehow, but I'm glad I got it this week. Because having Roxanne come in with the hugger Halloween costume that she had in 2022, just to distract Bayley was just chef's kiss. It was great. Um, Even heading into this match, I had a feeling that whatever happened here, that it was gonna have us get the result of Cora getting added to the match. And I went, yeah, this is the person getting in the pinfall for this match, hence why she's there. Got it. I was just like waiting to see how it would unfold more than anything. But yeah, I love this match. I love seeing Bailey here again. It's like I love what she's doing. I feel she's doing like a kind of feels like a little tour here, just going from Raw to doing this, and she's been on SmackDown as well. So the fact that she's been on like all 2 to 3 shows on a weekly basis at this point, and she's gonna be in the NBA All Star game as well. So she's all over the place right now, and I love seeing her giving back to this women's division. You can see that happening in this match because having not only to take that opportunity that Roxanne dresses up as the hugger Bailey, but the fact that they use this for Cora to get that win, somebody who really needed that win as well, because she's been losing almost all her matches since she returned. I think she's only won one maybe since she returned so far. So yes, I'm glad I didn't see Charlotte either.
Woo!
But no, overall, I feel like it was fun. I was just enjoying it. I wasn't even taking notes. Um, and I like the fact that we still get Julia here watching the match from backstage and how everything unfolded. I love the tension that we get between Roxanne and Cora Jade as well, and Bailey pushing Roxanne to Cora, and then going after Roxanne. Like everything, the way it happened, that ending sequence is just great. And I love the fact that getting this 4-way now, we do get the tension going into it. Roxanne with Cora, or probably gonna have like that happening between them, and then Bailey with Roxanne. I feel like that's definitely gonna help Julia get Cora for the pin later on. But overall,
Yeah.
a fun match.
Yeah, I think all of this was exactly as you draw it up. It was a bit cookie cutter, but I'll take it because cookie cutter doesn't always mean bad. No, I thought this was great. They did it great. Bailey's music, old music hits, and it makes me even go, ah, because I missed that music. It was really good. And you have that really cheap Halloween costume style knockoff of that Roxanne is wearing. And again, Roxanne helps Cora and hurts herself in the process, which is just the best way to do it. Because again, for some reason, we're back to telling Ava that Roxanne thinks that Ava hates Roxanne, and she's doing this to her, as opposed to just seeing how things are playing out and doing it, which is just great. I was going to mention Bailey's having a really, really bad week because because think about it. It says this was a great segment in a match, but I didn't watch wrestling during that time, so I didn't recognize the music. Yeah, this is the old hugger Bailey. You need to watch some of our. This is the talking takeover Bailey that we're going to need to get back into at some point in this year when we get an opportunity. But no, Bailey's having a really rough week because remember, she flew to Nashville and then went from Nashville to Orlando to be here at this show. Now she has to fly from Orlando all the way to the Bay to go ahead and be in the All-Star game on Friday. And then after that, she flies all the way back across the country to get back to Washington, D.C. Anybody who flies often enough can tell you that's going to cause some major jet lag.
That's exhausting.
So she's having a rough week. And not to mention she lost this match to Cora Jade, which would make anybody a bit surly. Speaking of surly, we move on to a backstage segment between Zarya and Sol Ruca, which I hated. I hate. Yeah, I do not fly. Fat man don't fly. Fat man does not fly. But no, I hated almost every bit of this interaction between the two of them. Just between the two of them was cringeworthy enough to just kill this segment dead as it stood. She is indeed doing it for the love of the game. Of both basketball and wrestling. Love of both games. This is cringeworthy between Zarya and Sol. There is zero chemistry between the two of these people. I don't know if they don't like each other. I don't know if they don't hang out. But I can tell you they're sure as hell not friends.
Yeah,
because you and I know that there are people like sometimes it takes a bit to get the idea of rhythm of people.
Mm-hmm.
But even in the early days of the War Report, me and you could pull off this promo without looking as stiff as the two of them fucking looked.
That's true.
It wasn't then bad enough when, it wasn't great. Like, and again, they didn't do anything wrong, but there's just no chemistry between the two of them. There's zero chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem when you're a tag team. Cutting promos. You kind of got to have chemistry. Because on their own, Sol Ruca cuts a really good promo. When they stopped having Zarya talk to Sol Ruca and she started cutting a promo on Nikita, that was pretty good too. And Nikita giving us all the idea of her being on the beach made me and Booker T very happy people.
Calm down, sir. Calm down.
Speaking of happy people, here's Papa Smokes. And by the way, for those of you that don't know, Astrid is going to be taking a trip to the territories this week as she talks all about Puerto Rican wrestling. And you're going to hear the name Carlos Colon and Savio Vega a whole bunch on that show. I already know it because I only know a little bit about the history of that area. But I do know that the two major promotions that have ever been run in Puerto Rico were run by Carlos Colon and Savio Vega.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
So Nikita cuts a promo sticking her nose in it, and it's going to be Zarya versus Nikita tonight. And I went,
Nikita made it worse.
I mean, yes. Nikita's...
It was bad, but it went from bad to worse, for me at least.
At least Nikita had some semblance of camera presence during her promo.
But just like, okay, so the part with Zarya and her was fine. Yeah. But the way she was talking, it seems so freaking forced. Like she was trying to be too much of a character instead of being herself.
I agree.
No, I just don't like the way that she responded to Zarya like that. That was definitely very cringe. But yeah, the way she responded to Zarya was like, you sounded too robotic, like you were trying too hard. Yeah, no, I don't like it.
Oh no, trust me, I didn't like this. But I was also sitting with the image of Nikita Lyons on the beach, and
I know that made you feel better, not me.
I grew up watching Savio Vega. No, she was born. She just wasn't watching professional wrestling. She's older than y'all think.
That's kind of true too, probably. So.
Well, I mean, no. Sorry, I'm trying to do the math without doing it out loud.
You can do it. I don't care. I look younger
31.
than what I am too. If that helps out CG.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm like, yeah, no. Well, maybe briefly,
I,
but not very long.
that's what I
I
said
was gonna say because
briefly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Savio Vega is a new generation guy, so he's 1994, 95. So we're in that same window. Hollywood Ashton is blank years old, which is still younger than 38. Yes, but it wasn't 38 years ago that Savio Vega was wrestling in the new generation era of WWE. But again, we're getting off track and I need to get back on. And speaking of getting back on track, NXT got back on track with my boy Obafemi on TV. He cuts a very basic, clean promo here where he goes, look, I'm in a triple threat match, but this might as well be a handicap match. Obafemi versus A-Town Down Under. And then I love it how he just does this nice little jab and he's like, but only one of them can be champion. Like he's
Mhm.
almost, he's acting like he understands he's losing the match. And it's just so great because it brings out Theory and Waller. And they start cutting promos on him, being like, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to play this game. We're a team. But are they a team? Because Austin Theory talks up Grayson Waller and how he's never had his flowers and how all of these other people in NXT have gotten their big breaks, and he never got any of those big moments or big breaks. And that everybody remembers who he fought in those big matches, but never remembers him. And he says, and then he's going to help Austin Theory win the NXT championship. To which makes Grayson Waller cut a promo talking about how Austin Theory, didn't have a lot of time here in NXT because he was a sidekick for this little flop named Johnny Gargano. And you can see Theory give him the eye at that. And he says, and now he's going to be the sidekick to the new NXT champion, Grayson Waller. And they start going back and forth, and Oba's just, I've done my job. And they go back and forth, like taking shots at each other, taking shots at Obafemi. And it seems like they're on the same page, but they're not on the same page, which means that Oba did what he needed to do. He's made it clear to the two of them that they both want to be champion, and only one of them can be champion. Yeah, but Oba didn't need to have a banger promo because all his job was to do was come out and make sure that these two guys get in each other's face, which he did. This was never a promo about getting Obafemi over, as it was about making Austin Theory and Grayson Waller feel like credible threats. Also, this promo reminded me that both Austin Theory and Grayson Waller are money if WWE would ever actually give them an opportunity to do this. And I know people are going to say Austin Theory had an opportunity. No, he didn't really have an opportunity because it was at the end of the Dementia era and he was known as Vince's boy. So he didn't get the push the way he needed to. Yes, he had the money in the bank. Yes, he had that whole push. But remember, in that push, he also had Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns laughing at him, telling him that Daddy's no longer here the night Vince McMahon got fired from the company. So when we sit here and talk about Austin Theory's had those moments, he really hasn't. He had that US title run, which was good. But I think between him and Theory, I think that there is a future in these two guys if they're given the opportunity.
I like the back and forth they had here, though. It was so fun seeing it. It's like the way they threw shade at each other is like, oh no, but Grayson didn't get the credit that he deserved. It was Carmelo and Braun Breaker that got it. And you talk about all these people, but you don't talk about like the elbow and the arm that went through the ladder that I'll never forget watching with Grayson. And he's like, oh yeah, and you're right. Like you never had a single championship. And it's like, and the crowd reaction, like how quickly that came was really priceless too. And then he's like, yeah, yeah, and you keep talking about beating Cena for the US title, like that's all you've ever done. And it's like, oh shoot. And it just kind of feels kind of similar. That's why I'm curious to see how it'll play out in the match, because it feels kind of similar to the way Cora and Roxy are being right now. So it feels kind of similar in that way in the match. Like they're definitely going to team up against Ova at first because they're thinking we're going to take down the big guy. But then there's going to be at some point that Ova's going to be down and they got to face each other because that's, what we're getting in the match. So I definitely see that playing out in that sort of way in the match. But I like the back and forth they have with each other. And it's like, you did this and you haven't done that. And it was fun in that aspect of it. It was nice seeing the fact that Ova's like, I didn't have to do much and you guys just you guys went at it with each other kind of thing. So that was fun to watch, but still is gonna be I would like to see Obafemi stack both of them for the pin though. That's what I want to see. Just
Yeah.
get that visual.
Stack them. What did Roman used to say? Stack them, rack them, pin them, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
I know he used to say he smashed everybody, so I hope Oba doesn't start going along that far along Roman's lines of smashing everybody. Does Theory being Vince's boy keep him out of the main television? No, I don't think. I think there's a divide where I don't think Triple H likes Austin Theory as much as Vince did. But remember, Triple H liked Austin Theory enough to sign him to the company from Evolve and bring him into WWE. So it's not like he doesn't like Austin Theory, and it's not like he doesn't like Grayson Waller. But Triple H also really likes tag team wrestling. And he sees something in these. But there's going to be a time where these two have to. I still would have done it last year. I still think they should have turned them last year and done the match at Mania last year at 40. I think I think we get the match this year at Mania coming out of this. I think the match is at Mania between Theory and Waller. And I think it's a kind of a dud match this year. I think it would have had a lot more cachet last year. But it is what it is. Oh boy. We'll get to make Mel's night, so we'll put him back on the screen again. So Eddie Thorpe is out by his fire can again, talking about his people and talking about how he didn't get an opportunity and how everybody passed him by, and Shawn Michaels doesn't believe in him and Ava doesn't believe in him, and he's doing this for himself and his people. I hate how the only time we ever hear about his people anymore is when he's cutting a heel promo talking about how he's being ignored and like neglected.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not talking about like why his Native American heritage means something to him. Like, if he's going to keep interjecting it, I want to know more about why, as a Native American, does wrestling mean something? Like, I get he's not a babyface anymore and he doesn't have to embrace the culture. But if he's going to keep acting like it's a big deal, make it a big deal in his character. Oh, hold on. We got comments. Oh, no, we didn't. Ed asking for content and logic. I mean, I wouldn't hate some context and logic. It wouldn't hurt. Either way,
see, we get it every now and then.
Yeah. Either way, he talks about Trick Williams and he says, I didn't get a chance, but people chant your name, Trick, while they scoff at mine. Well, I want you, and I want you at Vengeance Day, and I want you in a strap match. So we're going to strap up Eddie Thorpe, not to Mel, but to Trick Williams, and we're going to go ahead and at Vengeance Day, we're going to have a good old-fashioned strap match. Which version of the strap match? I don't fucking know. I don't think WWE knows at this point. Either way, Eddie Thorpe versus Trick Williams in a strap match. Okay. I
mean, sure.
I don't think it's a pay-per-view match, but all right.
It definitely doesn't feel like one.
I'll be honest. They kept adding things to this card, and I'm going, oh, they're really padding this card. Some of these matches are going shorter than they want. You can
Yeah,
tell they don't have a lot of faith in some of these matches to go long.
that's true. It felt weird because it doesn't feel like the usual. Once I saw more matches getting added, it's like, yeah, this definitely feels different this time.
And we'll get to the card, and we'll get to a very special announcement midway through the show. In just a few minutes, I think we'll go ahead and make our special announcement. What do you think, Astrid?
Yeah, hopefully it goes through.
You told me it was confirmed. You told me I could say it this week.
I mean, you can. We'll see.
We're recording this thing in less than 12, in like less than 16
Oh,
hours.
I know. I think we'll be
It better
fine. We'll
be
be fine.
confirmed.
I know.
We get Hank and Tank coming to the ring, but first, Javon Evans gets cleared for his match with Ethan Page at Vengeance Day. We had fake doctor somebody on TV telling us about. I say fake doctor because there's no fathomable way that his broken jaw healed enough to be having an actual wrestling match this week in the time period since the middle of December.
I forgot at that moment. I wanted to Google the doctor's name.
Yeah. But I just want to broken jaw recovery. No, actually, depending if it was just a simple fracture, it actually falls in line. 6 to 8 weeks. If it was a complex fracture, no, didn't they say they had to do surgery?
I don't remember really.
Okay, because I didn't pay fucking enough attention to this promo to give a shit.
I mean, either way, they already, by like you said, it was like by having him sign that paperwork, it feels like he's done 100%, but they also mean like you're not 100%, but if you get worse, it's not our fault. So that probably means to us that he's not healed entirely either.
Yeah, they're playing the something might happen card on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would have had a doctor say, no, I don't think you're ready. I'm not clearing you. And have Javon be like, no, I have to have this match. I have to do it, Ava. And she's like, fine. I talked to Sean all week because we heard that you weren't going to be cleared. And by the way, this was all had to happen earlier today because we had a pre-recorded thing with Ethan Page later where he knew that this has already happened. It's not like they filmed it in the middle of NXT for a sit-down interview with Ethan Page by himself, but that's besides the point. Again, just some of the crap things they did on the show. Like, I wish they would have done something where they would have had, like, Ava say, I talked to Sean earlier this week and knowing you're not cleared, here's the hold harmless agreement. Here's the thing that's going to make this match not count. You want Ethan, fine, I'll give you Ethan, but I'm not letting you take it out on us to get there.
Yeah, that's true.
We then get a surprising banger between Inamura and Briggs, Hank Tank, and the Candy Crew. This was a certifiable banger.
It was a fun match.
I liked this. This was a bunch of fun. I really enjoyed these 6 guys worked really, really well together. Hank and everybody got their spotlight. Baby Orton got to do all the Baby Orton spots. Tavion Heights got to hit some really cool suplexes on some really big old dudes. Hank Tank got to look good. I still don't like them, but they at least got to look good. Like, this match kind of did it all. And at the end of the day, Briggs and Inamura get the win, get the tag match with Axiom and Nathan Frazier looking on from the Eagles Nest. And I was like, oh, for the Tuesday after Vengeance. No, it's happening at Vengeance Day.
I was thinking next week.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be next week. They were like, at Vengeance Day. I'm like, oh, that's not a good sign for Vengeance Day. That was my first sign that NXT is a bit worried about this show. when this match became a match that's happening at the pay-per-view and not next week on television. However, I might finally get to see the dissolution of Naxium because Ashton won't be here to watch the horror of watching her boys lose these tag team titles to Josh
I mean, I'm still
Briggs.
gonna watch it. But
No,
yeah,
you'll skip this match. You won't watch it.
no, it's gonna hurt me inside, but I'll survive.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose.
No.
I then went to make Mama Fries a smoothie and missed the entirety of the segment involving the family.
It was pretty much Stacks apologizing for the way he's been the last couple of weeks of like, yeah, you're right. I had to kind of learn to be the way that he brought it up is like the way that learn basically how to take charge is what Tony had kind of told him beforehand. And I thought at first, like the way they mentioned it, I thought they were saying that they were not going to be there ringside with him. So I was confused when I saw them that they were there for the whole match. So I was wondering if I thought that at first they were gonna stay backstage. So I was kind of confused based on the wording there. I don't know if that was me, but yeah, it was that part of, and then Easy was there too with them. So that's when I went. If this is the main event, something's definitely happening.
Well, I mean, it was the best match on the announced card beforehand. So if you weren't going to main event with, which you can't, if you're going to do all the things you do later, you can't main event with Bayley versus Cora, which I think would have been the main event had what happened at the end of the show not happened at the end of the show. So we then get JDC of the System taking on Lexis King in the new Heritage Cup Championship. God, I can't wait for this fucking thing to be gone. I can't wait for this to be gone.
Oh my gosh.
If they're going to contest this under normal wrestling rules, which is essentially what they are, like it's vague about what happens for countouts and disqualifications, which I think will be interesting to find out what happens during those because Lexis was very vague with that last week. Because it's like the winner holds the cup. But if you get disqualified, it's a championship now. So that means that the championship can't change hands on a disqualification or a count out. So it's
most likely.
Either way, yeah. This is where the messages started coming with my boy. Now, to clarify from last week, when he was the babyface who was kind of like getting a hold of me, that was my boy, Lexis King. The king of television that Booker T keeps yapping the fuck about every time the heel Lexis King comes out. I have nothing to do with him. I disown that. Wash my hands of that. This match was fine. Like, it wasn't bad, but it sure wasn't good. Johnny Curtis is still great. Fandango can still wrestle really good matches.
I mean, you will know if you watch TNA. Uh-huh.
Yeah, no. I'm okay. I don't watch substandard wrestling. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh gosh. I feel like the only thing that really stands out was the ending because Fandango was going towards the top rope there, and the way it happened, I thought it was gonna play a little bit differently, and this is what I mean. Because Fandango's up and the ropes, and then Lexis hits the ropes so Fandango falls. But I really thought he was gonna push the referee onto the ropes instead of just put like him doing it himself. Because the referee was such a weird angle because it was Lexis King here and the referee here, so I thought it was gonna go this way. And it felt weird when the referee moved and then Lexus did it by himself. So I don't know if something that was there with the timing of it. Because I really thought that was the referee was gonna be out for this match based on like the angles. But other than that, he did his move and he retained. But yeah, I just felt like that was awkward because I thought the referee was gonna get hit with Lexus. and then hit Fandango, but not the referee move, and then Lexis hitting the ropes. So I thought that was odd.
Yeah, this finish was confuzzling as all hell. Like, it's a great camera angle, ruined by a bad version of the ending that they put out there. Like, just doing it the way you said makes this ending 10 times better. Granted, the match still fair middling best, but at least the ending makes more sense. But I mean, a top rope coronation was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why we wasted on JDC in a regular match on a regular NXT, but whatever. Bayley's backstage in Ava's office, congratulating Ava on the decision to bring Cora Jade into this. But as soon as she's getting ready to say the next line, all of a sudden, baby Bayley comes walking in. She's mad as hell. She says Ava's doing it to her again. She said that Ava's, trying to, screw her chances of getting this championship because now they're from 33 1/3 to 25%. I thought she was going to do some signer math. I was very excited. Unfortunately, baby Bayley did not do that. She says, well, it doesn't matter because no matter what happens, I'm just going to go ahead and win the NXT Women's Championship. And in walks Cora Jade, and she goes, oh, really? And I'm like, well, you're sure as hell not winning it, Cora. The person who gets added at the last fucking minute is the one taking the pin in this match. You're sure as hell not winning it.
That's true.
They're going to surprise us all and have Julia beat Bayley, aren't they? Just outright beat Bayley.
I don't know.
As if this wasn't bad enough with having baby Bayley sitting here being mad and bringing up that storyline that Ava's trying to screw Roxanne every chance she gets. We get Nikita coming to the ring, but first we get a terrible toxic promo in the backstage area that is then interrupted by Kalani Jordan demanding an NXT Women's North American Championship match, to which they say, but you should be focused on Jada, who then interrupts them saying her name to come in and say that she wants an NXT North American title match. Not sure what she's done to deserve said match, but she says that she wants one. And all of this time, Ashanti starts walking up, and I'm like, oh God, what stupid shit is Ashanti the Adonis going to do? And he brings up a really good point, which pisses me off even more. And he says, cold-blooded Carmen beat you and beat you, so she deserves a chance. And Fallon's like, I've had enough of all of y'all nonsense. I'm done with this. Y'all figure out who gets the shot. I've got to worry about Saturday. And then we have a match, and my entirety of the match notes is Zarya beats Nikita.
Mine is Nikita with Zarya. Zarya won.
Yeah, I didn't even bother the verses and then Zarya won. No, I just Zarya beat Nikita. 3 words.
Oh my God.
I did enjoy seeing Corey Graves try to find ways to praise Nikita Lyons, knowing that in his heart of hearts, I don't think he could find anything really good to say. Like, Booker T found plenty of things to say, but shocker, it's Booker T, and he's lusting over another female talent. Again, I can't wait to see what happens when Queen Sharmell finally watches what Booker T does on a weekly basis. By the way, if you didn't know, Booker T is also on Legends and Future Greats.
Okay, am I the only one when I see those finishes? All I think is let's effing go. I can't think of the
Yeah,
show.
oh no, yeah, that's all I. It's the Let's Fucking Go show.
That's
It's basically Tough Enough. It's Tough Enough, but with like big teams, and it's what Mickey James, Booker T, and Bully Ray. Like the fuck is this bullshit?
The only one that sits right with me is Mickey. Everybody else can skedaddle out of there, really.
No, because while me and you both have our issues with Bully Ray, the one thing he's always understood is how wrestling works and how to make a good match.
I know, but I still don't want to
He-
watch him on my TV, though. You know, I don't
I,
want
under,
to.
I understand that, but at least he's a competent coach. Why is Booker T there?
But yeah, this is to me, like you said, this is the Let's Effing Go show because every time I see it, that's all I can think about. I can't think of the title anymore, which is not helpful either.
And by the way, the only clip that they keep showing us is this fucking clip with Gunther talking to, what was her name? I followed her on Twitter today.
Is it
Zana?
Senna? I think Senna or
Senna?
something like that.
Yeah, it's some name with a Z. And she was all excited. I sent you one of the messages from her as I saw one of her tweets, and I was
Yeah,
like,
Senna Sterling. Mm-hmm.
yeah. She is my favorite. I don't care who else is on this show. I don't care anything else about this show. She is my favorite because Gunther just lays into her about how, by the way, Gunther of all people talking about how Barbie dolls don't make it in this business. And I'm like, dude, have you not looked at who's running the championship division and the women's division on SmackDown? It's fucking Barbie herself, Tiffany Stratton.
And
because I don't,
the girl dating his friend.
Yeah. And by the way, because I don't get to play it enough.
All I have to say now is it's Tiffy time.
Yeah.
She doesn't even look the same in that graphic anymore.
I know. I have to make a new graphic. I get that. But no, like, what? Why is he even saying that Barbie dolls don't make it? Has he not seen that? Yes, always ladies first with Astrid. You know, if I were Corey Graves, I would have been able to find nice things to say about Nikita too. However, God, this was just a bad idea from the word go. It made Zarya feel like a big deal when she was doing all her power offense to Nikita. Because Nikita's the biggest woman that she's been able to, yeah. Like she's done these things to Lash, but Lash is tall and not really thick like Nikita. It takes a different skill set to be able to throw Nikita Lyons around than it takes to throw Lash Legend around.
Mm-hmm.
I think Will's right. Don't let Rhea fool people. Rhea is a shoot blonde. Yes, we remember because Astrid and the girls will be going ahead and covering the Mae Young Classic 2 with Rhea Ripley in it. Shoot blonde. Rhea, no, well, that was this year.
Yeah.
You just got done.
Yeah, she's on both.
Oh, she is in. Yes, but next year she comes back as biker. There's no more bubblegum blonde. Yes, but it's not bubblegum blonde like she was in the first Mae Young Classic.
I know. Yeah.
It's the beginnings of the Rhea Ripley that we know and love in the second Mae Young Classic.
Yeah.
Yes, Rob, I know that you could write paragraphs about Cora. We then get the shitty Ethan Page promo for Vengeance Day, which was typical heel. You're hurt, and I'm gonna hurt you more. Like, yes, it had a little bit of Ethan flair to it, but it wasn't good. And I hate it because I think if you could have given Ethan whatever the timeline for this promo is, if you gave Ethan the time to just do what he wanted to do, I think he could have come up with a better promo. Like, we've seen Ethan and how good he is. And I like the fact that he references, he's like, look, you thought Lowell was bad. Wait till you see what happens. Like, he added a little bit of Ethan flair to it by, like, adding in, you thought this was bad. Wait. But it's just so fucking cookie cutter. And that's what I hated about this, is it was just too cookie cutter. But it was a good promo from Ethan in the fact that, you know, it did the things it needed to do.
That's true.
But we're going to take this opportunity before we hit an hour on the show to go ahead and talk about what's coming up this Saturday. So this Saturday night, you can see me and Mark Talks Wrestling doing a post show featuring the matches of Obafemi defending his NXT Men's Championship against Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. You can see Julia defending her championship against Bayley, Roxanne Perez, and Cora Jade. The NXT Tag Team Championships are on the line when Josh Briggs and Yoshoki Imamura take on Nathan Frazier and Axiom. Fallon Henley will defend her NXT Women's North American Championship when she takes on Stephanie Vacour. We've got Eddie Thorpe taking on Trick Williams in a strap match, which will get Mel's heart erasing. And Ethan Page will take on Javon Evans. And Javon Evans has signed a hold harmless agreement to go ahead and not sue WWE should he be put out of action for the rest of his life. But that's all on Saturday. And on Saturday morning, we're going to have a pre-recorded show airing. And Astrid, can you tell us who is going to be our special guest? Who did you wrangle as the Booker Supreme for our local establishment?
I was gonna say no, he's host, reactor, one of the wrestling's biggest streamers, to put it like that. He's been featured on WWE television quite a few times lately. None other than Mr. Santi Sap. Hey!
Yeah, so here's our thumbnail for now for this Tuesday. We've been working this one out for about a month between Astrid and Santi, and I'm very excited. This is a big opportunity for us here at our local establishment. The Booker extraordinaire pulling out all of her business chops to go ahead and get this one. It's a big one. We're going to be recording it probably sometime tomorrow evening. It'll be going out Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Yes, I will still be here. I will still be hosting. Just because I didn't put the show together does not mean I won't be here for it. I'm still going to be here annoying Santi, but it's not just going to be Astrid and Santi. I need to just hand over the reins and say, here's my Tuesday night show. Have fun.
I mean, you could. No, I'm kidding. He's busy.
I was going to say, I think he's too busy for our local establishment on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But yes, Mr. Santi Zap is going to be joining us, and we could not be more excited. It is going to be a bunch of fun. We will make sure that the social medias, make sure you're following our local establishment at all the social medias that are down below so that we can tell you when that show will go live. I'm going to assume it'll be Saturday afternoon, probably around noon time, because we got the Mother Tucking Post Show coming up at 3 o'clock. Saturday's a busy day for us here at our local establishment. You've got us with the pre-recorded content at noon. You get the Mother Tucking Post Show at 3. I'm pretty sure I can confirm there is going to be a preview show with 2, potentially 3 contributors on it, one of which being Auntie Collins herself, one of which being the wonderful Lauren Goodnight, and a potential special guest as they go ahead and preview AEW's Grand Slam Australia, which will be taking place Saturday night in the place of Collision, which is going to have some wonderful matches, including Toni Storm versus Mariah May. That's the only one I care about, so that's the only one we're going to talk about. No? Nothing? All right.
No, I'm not going to continue.
We could also talk about the fact that me and Mark, again, like I said, will be here. The show starts at 6, so somewhere between, I'm assuming, 9 and 10, Mark and I will be going live and talking about that. Yes, Grand Slam is not a pay-per-view. It is a television event. It's fine. It might not be as bad an idea as it. Yeah, me and Mark on Valentine's Day weekend, my work wife decides that she wants nothing to do with me and sticks me with Mark.
Sorry.
Damn it, Astrid. Damn it to hell. Trick Williams is interviewed about while the cage is being. I love the fact that they're doing this interview from the Eagle's Nest, pointed at the ring, so you can kind of see the cage being put together. Like, it's simple, but it's just kind of fun and different. It's something you don't normally get to see, because normally the cage gets lowered down. So to kind of see them assembling the cage is kind of cool. So I like the idea that they did this interview right in front of it. And as that happens, as we talked about, Ricky Starks cuts in and makes an appearance in the crowd. That was the coolest moment of the night. I mean, I got to keep practicing. Got to keep practicing. He's going to be here on a weekly basis. Like I said, we talked about it at the top of the show. Ricky Starks being on NXT is a huge deal for NXT, because he's a guy who could have gone straight to the main roster. Because the reasons why people get put into NXT are they want them to learn the WWE style of television. Well, Ricky knows how to do that. Ricky's been working in AEW, which is essentially the WWE style of television. He's not an indie guy at this point. He's a main name. He's a mainstay on that roster for the better part of the 4 years. Hell, he was one of the 4 pillars of AEW, if I remember correctly. When they had the 4 pillars match, wasn't it Ricky Starks versus Jungle Boy?
The 4 guys? Oh, I thought you meant like the t-shirt version.
No, they did the 4 pillars match. It was MJF versus Ricky Starks versus Jungle Boy
and Darby.
Darby. Like, he's one of the 4 pillars of AEW, according to AEW. So, like, he's a big deal. So you could have debuted him on main roster television, but he's coming to NXT because he's the star that NXT needs. He's going to turn this brand on its head. I'm excited to see him on a weekly basis.
But for me, also him and Ethan both, because they've been doing this for a while now and they knew how to work television. I feel like they will kind of get like that kind of Kevin Owens route of like they'll be here for only a few months and then they're gone. So I doubt they'll be here for too long, but we could appreciate what we have them right here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna appreciate Ricky Starks for as long as we get him. But but yeah, Ricky. All right, so Ricky Starks. I love Ricky Starks. I think Ricky Starks is great. I've liked Ricky Starks for years. But Ricky Starks does look like a midget version of The Rock. He does. You can't get around it. He really does.
I mean, that's what Cope told him too.
Yeah, but Cope's here. But no, Ricky Starks is here. We see Julia and Stephanie talking about Saturday, and then Ridge Holland cuts in front of them, gives them an evil look, and walks to the ring. When we come back from the commercial break, we get the best backstage segment of the night with Cal Dixon talking to Andre Chase, and Andre's like, "What's going on here?" And they're like, "Oh, this is it's like a mixer. It's a party to get ready. It's a pregame for the pay-per-view." I'm like, "Oh, these kids are pregaming way too early." I'm an old man. Like, pre-gaming for me is like an hour before the show. We start getting some stuff moving. I'm an old man now. I can't handle that much alcohol. She doesn't even know what pre-gaming means.
I mean, I know what it means. I just haven't done it.
Anyways, Cal Dixon says, "Oh, I got somebody to introduce you to. Uriah Collins is on my television screen. Holy shit!"
Finally.
I thought it was funny because I messaged Astra the other day when I saw like a Fightful rundown of one of the house shows, and they had Uriah Connors in like a big spot on the card. And I'm like, didn't he take on like Tony D'Angelo or something for like the North American Championship or something in that match? I forget. But he had a spot on the card. And I'm like, Uriah Connors still works for this company? I thought he was getting released with everybody else last week.
No.
Oh, he's still here. He's still got a job. And he says, "Well, why don't you join us, Mr. Chase?" He's like, "No, not on a school night." And he's like, "School night? I thought Chase U was dead." And Andre's sad. And he goes, "Yeah, it is." And he walks away. And Uriah looks at Cal, and he goes, is Chase U dead? And he goes, nope, it's not. Chase U's coming back. Woohoo!
I know Duke Hudson. Wah.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Duke Hudson. Welcome back, Brandon Vink. We're not talking about AEW here. I'm talking
Look
about
who
AEW.
says that. Look who says that.
I solely talk about AEW and talk about Ricky Starks because there's nothing else to talk about Ricky Starks with. He's not worked anywhere else that I know
The
that I can talk about.
irony. The irony of who's saying it.
I keep hearing that every week in the weekly meetings after taking over with you and the Ogre Lord, so I have to keep saying it. We then get the main event. Main event was a steel cage match. I'll be honest with you. The match portion of this sucked. This was a bad cage match. I didn't care. I was happily spending more time working on the two thumbnails for this show and the show tomorrow than I was watching this match.
I feel like, and even then, I can't even tell you because I was so like, I don't want to say zoned out, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And either way, Rich being there already didn't help my part of it. I feel like the turnaround more than anything is when Izzy has the crowbar and she wants to slip it in uh through one of the holes in the steel cage for Tony to use, and Stacks is like, no, we're not doing that, but then he throws it in. I'm like, you idiot, you're doing the same thing she was doing. Could have just let
He
her
wanted
do
the
it.
credit. He wanted the credit.
Yeah. And then I going from there to having I forgot their names at this point, who are running off Stacks and Luca, so that way it's only Rizzo and Izzy there, and that's when I went, great.
Sean
Izzy's
Spears,
turning.
Brooks Jensen, and Nico Vance.
No, but like who was it them that really that took out Luca and Stacks? Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking somebody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, just thinking of the sequence, I was like, yeah, definitely something. I was thinking in my mind, something is happening here for this to be the main event. If not, like there will be no other reason why this will be the main event of all the matches on the card. Because then, not like you said, Bayley and Cora would have been that main event for me, if anything, because it had the consequences most likely of Cora being added because of the victory here. But it still is like we get Rich knocks out Tony. Tony still kicks out, which that part was like, oh, okay. And
I'll
then
get to that.
and then Tony does a spine buster. He retains, and then Rich is involved in here too. With oh no, Rich is taking up with Luca and Stacks at first. That's what happens.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was like in my mind. I was like, it was one person. So Rich is with Stacks and Luca. They end up going backstage basically. What the way it looks like it. So it's Rizzo and Izzy with Tony in the cage, and that's when Nico, Brooks, and Sean come in. Adriana like locks in the cage, so they don't come in. But then Izzy hits Tony with the crowbar still, and that makes it like a group thing. And I was like in my mind thinking, don't tell me we're gonna get this like what 6-person tag, 8-person tag for like the pay-per-view. Or maybe next week, most likely.
Next week. I'm assuming this will be one of the great matches that we get at NXT Roadblock in March. Fuck my life. I didn't need an NXT thing in between Vengeance Day and the paper and Stand and Deliver. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't need Roadblock. But all right. The turn, fine. I love the turn. The turn makes sense.
Mhm.
They've been teasing it for 8 weeks. We've talked about this the whole time. I think Izzy makes perfect sense for that group. She's always made sense for that group. She's the perfect person that has nothing going on, that Sean Spears can manipulate into this. The turn is great. Like, it's predictable at that point, but it's fine. Predictability isn't always bad. So it's fine to do the turn the way they did it. The only thing I have a problem with in all of this, Tony D'Angelo cannot kick out of being hit in the back of the head on a clothesline with the fucking tire iron. It can't happen. The crowbar on the arm with the clothesline to the back of the head cannot be kicked out of. If they're going to do the kick out, he needs to hit the first shot right on the back and then he needs to pin him there or hit a different move to do it. He can't do the crowbar right to the back of the head, go to the pin, and then have Tony kick out. I'm sorry. No, that's not allowed. That's bad. That's indie booking. And that's bad indie booking. And I'm bad at you, Sean, for doing it. Because that's the stupid shit that they run in the other places where you do 60 million finishers. No. When you have a weapon shot like that, it ends the match. You knock the guy out, he gets pinned. That's how that happens. Very, very angry about that. Even Ashley can tell you that portion of it, I was so mad. I messaged her and I'm like, he can't fucking kick out of that. Like, it's just bad psychology.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to get the thoughts of Bobby Munson and Papa Smokes on something like that. Gonna show them that clip and see what they say. But that ends a kind of chaotic episode of NXT. A lot of good things happened and an awful lot of bad things happened. This pay-per-view card, and there's nothing wrong with the matches on the card for the pay-per-view. In a vacuum, Eddie Thorpe versus Trick Williams in a strap match will be fine. It's a strap match, so it's not great, but it'll be fine. Ethan versus Javon has been perfectly well built and is a good match that needs to happen at this pay-per-view. No reason not to do it. Fallon versus Stephanie's been built really well. I'm looking forward to that. Julia versus Bayley versus Roxanne versus Cora. Even the late addition of Cora isn't a bad thing. It's actually a good thing because she's been involved in this story since the fucking beginning of it anyways, so it makes perfect sense that she's involved in the match. Oba versus Grayson versus Austin Theory. With the exception of it being kind of just out of nowhere, it's going to be a good match. I think these two guys will work really well with Oba Femi. I think the will they, won't they turn on each other element of this match is going to be fun. So that only leaves one match that I'm looking at and going, hey, you're the oddballs out. And that's the tag team title match with Nathan Frazier and Axiom taking on Briggs and Inamura. Because that match should be the main event of next week's Tuesday night show.
I really thought they were going to say next week.
Plus, that would have also given us 5 matches, which makes sense. I'm guessing Ethan versus Javon isn't going to go long. I'm guessing that's a shorter match than people are expecting. Maybe it goes 5 minutes. I don't think it should go much more than 5 minutes. If it makes it to 10 minutes, it's overstayed its welcome. I'll say that right here, right now. But the matches, like I said, in a vacuum, Briggs and Inamura versus Frazier and Axiom is a good match. Like, it's a fine match. I'm excited to see it. I mean, Inamura, did you see that splash where he, like, bounces holding the top rope a couple times before that big old boy jumps off the top rope with a frog splash? Like, that's cool. I liked him tonight. He was great. But, oh boy, this crowd. This card. And again, to get our thoughts on it before the show, make sure you check us out this Saturday afternoon with Mr. Santi Zapp. I still can't believe I'm getting to say that. Santi Zapp is going to be joining us to talk all things preview for Vengeance Day. Very excited for that. You can find me and Mark here on Saturday night as we talk all things Vengeance Day post show. After the show goes off the air, you'll see the two of us knuckleheads getting along or not getting along. We'll see how. Is it Valentine's Day for me and Mark, or is it Vengeance Day for me and Mark? You'll find out then. And of course, you can catch me and Ashton back here next Tuesday night to get Ashton's thoughts on some of the matches while going over what happened on next week's card. Astrid, while you aren't going to be around for Making an Impact this week, why don't you go ahead and tell the people where they can find you and all of your wonderful friends on Making an Impact and just you and yourself.
You can find me tomorrow. Like you said, we're recording Vengeance Day, so hopefully we'll have that sometime on Saturday. And then Thursday, I'll be on Bring Respect Radio talking about the history of Puerto Rico and wrestling. So that will be very interesting because I wasn't watching it back then. So it's a lot of going back to research and review as well. So I'm really excited to be diving into that. Friday, I won't be here for making an impact, but it's still, I think Mark will be there. So definitely support Mark as he talks about, I think it's Josh Alexander's last TNA match. So we'll definitely see how that goes. I don't know. I'm still maybe for Vengeance Day, so we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll be the one right in the middle smack between both of these, so they don't fight off on screen. And then you can find me again on. There's no WCW on Monday. We're gonna take a break before we head on to season 2 of the Mayo Classic. So you'll find me again on Tuesday for taking over again. You can find me on my Twitter and Blue Sky, which is Astrid Pizarro, and my Instagram and Threads, Astrid Pizarro 20. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit on that bell to be notified when I upload or go live. And hit a like on the video. It's going really well growing over there now. Yay!
Yeah, you got some good stuff going on over there. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Skies, but I remember to check my Blue Skies at edfries12584. You can find me on twitch.tv/edfries2002, simulcasting all of the Marvel Talk stuff that we do and some of the gaming stuff coming up with WWE 2K25. I've got some ideas of some stuff I want to do for 2K25. I got to talk to some friends to see what we can do for that. Remember that you can catch me this Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern as me, my good friend and other tag team partner, Andre C., and Peggy are going to be joining us as we go ahead and talk all things Captain America Brave New World, which I'll be seeing on Thursday. It is a very busy week for me. I've got tonight's show. We're recording tomorrow. I've got Brave New World on Thursday night. I've got Valentine's date night on Friday. I've got to deal with Mark's dumbass on Saturday. And then I've got a board game auction and Marvel Talk on Sunday. Whole lot of stuff going on for me this week. Not all of it on here, but it's been a very exciting week for me. Very exciting week for our local establishment. Speaking of our local establishment, if you're not following, why aren't you following? Follow them right down here at Ole Podcasts on almost all your favorite social media platforms. Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, all those fine places. Or on YouTube and Twitch at our local establishment. You can find us there. And we go ahead and we have live shows going on all the time, almost every day of the week now at some point. We've got something going on. Whether it's making an impact, whether it's Marvel Talk, whether it's, the Mother Tucking Post Show, whether it's Ring Respect Radio, Honor Ramble, us here at Taking Over, Women's Classic Wrestling. I want to say Women's Championship Wrestling because that's what WCW actually stands for. All kinds of great content here at our local establishment. Please make sure you're following to go ahead and see it. I just can't get over Ed and Mark on Val. It's technically not Valentine's Day for either of us because it'll be Saturday. Thank fucking God. And why couldn't the Super Bowl be on Valentine's Day? Mark's meltdown and potentially Hollywood Ashes too. Don't worry. I'm sure Astrid has cried her heart out.
Well, first of all, I don't get invited on POV, so that's a different thing. You gotta talk to my overlord about that. That's the first thing.
I was gonna say, don't look at me. I don't run shit on that show.
Overlord.
I show up and talk.
No, I was watching Hard Eyes, which you're gonna talk about Killer Cuts pretty soon, hopefully. So, I prefer watching my horror movie over that football game. So.
Your girl got booed.
I know. I saw.
By the way, you're with it and you're young and you can get jiggy with it. So tell me, what am I missing about this Kendrick Lamar halftime show? Because I watched it and I wasn't impressed. So what am I missing that was so great about this post show or this halftime show that I'm not getting?
That the hater gets to celebrate the hating song with millions of people.
Okay, so we brought him all the way out there so he could diss some Canadian screech? I don't care.
No, it's definitely a lot of symbolism within I was gonna say the footage. Oh my gosh, a lot of symbolism within the whole choreography and the setup and everything. So if you definitely look in that, you'll definitely realize it. So, like
I said, I'm not the target audience for this this halftime show. It wasn't made for me, and that's fine. I have no problem with him being the halftime show, and I have no problem with anything he did during the halftime show. But I didn't like it, but it's like because it wasn't meant for me. The same thing as, like I said, they went to Atlanta the other week on Raw, and they had 17 rappers, and I looked and go, I know 2 of you.
I mean,
know
I don't
2 of you
listen to
people.
rap either, but I do appreciate the symbolism that he had in the performance more than anything.
Maybe I need to watch it again. Maybe, God, I don't really want to watch it again. Maybe I need to watch it again.
Me too.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and STG are a little too old for Kendrick Lamar to be our guy. But like I said, I'm more than happy that he got the opportunity to do it. I'm glad that he got to sing his little song about Drake. Like, it's fine. I see the meme running around of him going,
I wanna be hating with a smile like that too.
We all, like, he is talented. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think Kendrick Lamar is a talented dude. I just don't like his stuff. And I think that that's okay. I don't know. I've seen the internet, and apparently if I don't like it, there are some certain things that people believe about me if I don't like the halftime show. So I don't know. I wanted to see if maybe more people didn't agree with it, or if it's just me. It could just be me, people. Trust me. I am old fogey. But for myself, OLED and Fries, for the natural, as Bizarro, this has been Taking Over. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
I am in misery.